happy birthday to me. This episode is actually coming out on my birthday. So fun. And all the month of June, I've been celebrating my birthday with different offers. And I wanted to just tell you about the 3 offers that are available to you because all of them are a little bit different. So they're going to be different. And you, I know, need one of these. Okay. One is Organized Life Academy. I've mentioned that in the last couple episodes. The doors are open only this month to join for the rest of 2025. We are decluttering and organizing our home and life. So simplysquaredaway.com/OLA for Organized Life Academy. That's number 1. Number 2 is my business organizing intensive. That I offered on Black Friday. I only opened 8 spots. And in that product, we organize 3 areas of your business: your bookmarks bar, your digital files, and your business dashboard. So we have those 3 areas that we organize. You get 2 one-on-one calls with me, 1.5 hours each. It is such a good deal. Those 3 areas are going to change your business. You are going to learn things. It's so cool because I had someone buy this. They didn't even know me. They just found me. They purchased it about a week ago. She booked her first appointment. We had the appointment, and the whole time she was like, oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. I never knew how to do this. This is going to save me so much time. This is so great. How did I not know this? And that's how she was the whole time. And that was just getting started. And so these skills, little shortcuts, little tricks, the ways I teach you how to do it are proven ways that you can get your business organized, that you can save so much time because you can find everything you need quickly. And I teach you all 17 years of skills and working with so many different people. So that one is at simplysquaredaway.com/BOI for business organizing intensive. And then the final one is for anyone. It's the only way to work with me privately less than 3 or 6 months. If you just want to test it out, if you just have one issue you want coaching for, this is 3 sessions, 55 minutes each, and you bring anything you want to that coaching session. It might be a relationship issue. If you want to work on something in your business, maybe it's streamlining a process, maybe it's organizing your digital files, whatever it is, or it could be for your home or life. Maybe you want to work on implementing a couple systems in your home, or you want to create a plan on how to get your home organized when you feel like it's all so much. Anything you want for that offer, you can bring to the table. This is a limited time 3-session package, and I'm calling it Momentum Builder because it's exactly what it's designed to do. Give you momentum. 3 sessions with me. You have to book them in 3 months. And you can have access to me in between that in one of my 2 areas, which we'll talk about once you purchase. So if you're interested in that, you're going to go to simplysquaredaway.com/momentum. Okay. All lowercase /momentum. If any of these 3 are what you want, grab them before the end of the month because they will be going away at the end of June. Okay. Today I am so excited. We are talking to Samantha Brown, and we are talking about the psychology of clutter and how it's holding you back and what to do about it. And the cool thing is when her and I are having this conversation, we are relating the clutter. And clutter to me is delayed decisions, the clutter that builds up in your home and the clutter that builds up in your business and in your mind, and how those 3 relate to each other. They're very similar. There's a surprising link between physical clutter and mindset blocks and how we create hotspots in our business and how to find them. So we kind of walk through using the organizing steps to deal with all of these issues and to deal with the psychology and the clutter in our mind. And even the sneaky ways clutter hides in your offers, your workflows, and your system. So you are going to love Samantha and her energy. She is also a professional organizer, and she coaches people that are starting their professional organizing business. So let's get into this week's episode. Are you ready to work less, feel more organized and productive, streamline repetitive tasks, and implement systems that allow your coaching business to run smoothly even without you? If so, you're in the right place. Welcome to the Organized Coach Podcast, your go-to source for practical tips and solutions. I'm your host, Tracy Hoth, professional organizer, certified life coach, simplifying expert, and most of all, down-to-earth fellow coach just like you. No matter if you think you're missing the organizing gene, have ADHD, or just love anything organizing, I'm here to help you become an organized coach with a business that works for you. Pull up a seat and let's get started. We are going to have a conversation today about the psychology of clutter and how coaches can break free. And I'm excited about this topic. I am a more practical, hands-on, like give me some action steps person. So I love when I get to talk to someone about the mindset, the psychology behind it. And I have Samantha Brown here today, who, this is fun to know, we're both professional organizers and we're both coaches. So she is the host of the Pro Organizers Coach podcast, and she teaches both new and seasoned organizers how to build a purposeful, profitable business. She has a podcast and a YouTube channel and a coaching community, and she equips women with the mindset, tools, strategy, and support they need. So, Samantha, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited, so excited to have this conversation.
Yes, and we just had a conversation for your podcast. So this has been fun getting to know you and getting to talk about all the things. And so I want to start, just really get into it. We often think of clutter as just maybe a messy desk or a full inbox, but you kind of have talked about how it runs deeper. So just tell us about the psychology behind clutter and how it shows up in a coaching business.
Yeah. So as an organizer and a coach and a podcast host, right? Your women that are listening, definitely all the feelings that they've had, I have had them at some point in time or another, or at least one of my ladies that I'm coaching with has, right? The clutter, it honestly ends up most of the time showing up because of deeper issues, like whether it's fear or whether it's impostor syndrome showing up, or whether it is just all of the emotions as business owners and women and coaches and online coaches, even more. We let our emotions show up, but when they show up, it's almost like a bell going off that like, hey, like you're feeling this way because of, and it's kind of like for my like the women that I help in their homes with their clutter, right? Like they get what I call hot spots where they don't know where stuff goes. And the reason that this clutter is showing up is because they've not taken the time to figure out where does this live? Where does this go? And like kind of go a little deeper than just, oh, well, I'll just throw it on this chair and it can live there, right? And in the online space, and as a business owner, it can show up in, honestly, half the time I'm like, yelling at my husband, and my husband's like, I didn't do anything. And I'm like, oh, wait. And so you have to start being aware. And for me, the biggest thing was learning the thought model, which I know all of your ladies know, right? But as I realized, like, oh my gosh, like I can examine my thoughts and I can, be aware. As you start to dive into that stuff, you start to realize that everything that's coming up, we know our emotions come from our thoughts. So then we're able to choose a different thought that serves us better. But we have to be willing to go there and look for it. Does that make sense?
Yes, totally. And I liked the visual I got when you said the word hot spots. So where in our business are the hot spots? That's a great question to think about.
Yeah. So I think our hot spots are going to be different for each one of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's going to be wherever we're getting stuck and we are at a place of either, never mind, I want to quit.
We were just talking about that.
Yeah, right before we hit record. It's the place you get stuck is the hot spot in the online business and as an entrepreneur, or the thing that's like keeping you up in the middle of the night that's like running through your mind. I think those are kind of the hot spots for us as entrepreneurs.
Well, and that's such a good thing for anyone listening to just ask yourself, where am I getting stuck right now? What's showing up a lot like a big pile? Thinking of the pile on the chair or the pile on your island when you walk in the kitchen. Those hot spots. So you first, just stop and think, where are you getting stuck? And then what you said too, which I mean, I know this, I've been an organizer as well, but just thinking it through is really helpful. Then the next step would be to think there's things piled up there that you haven't decided where they're going to live. Yes. And they're coming at you, those thoughts and emotions are coming at you, and you're just sticking in there. And then you're not taking the time to say, okay, let's go through this one by one. And even ask the questions that you
start with a brain dump always.
Yeah.
Like get a piece of paper and a pen and, just take the time to brain dump it onto a piece of paper so you can visually see what it is.
Yeah.
Because if not, it just stays in our brain. And I know we all know this, but it really is nice to be reminded of certain things like, oh yeah, I did learn that as I was becoming a coach. I probably do that. Your listeners probably do that with their own clients. But then we forget to do it for ourselves.
Yeah. So good. Okay. And then we're going to assign homes to that. We'll probably come back to this process as we're thinking through this. So what's the connection between physical clutter and internal mindset blocks? Is that what we just talked to, or is there something else there?
No, I mean, I think that's, again, it like shows up as impostor syndrome, indecision, the unfinished tasks, this, all of it. Yes. Everything we just talked about.
Yeah. So that is the hot spots. Those are the things that are building up.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I love finding examples in our own life. So for you, is there anything you think of, a moment in your business when you realized like clutter, either mental or physical, was holding you back? And then if so, what helped you?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think how many times has this not happened in my business, right? Like every time that I go to launch a new product, or I go half the time to even create a new episode for the podcast, or I have, especially when a new client calls, right? I really get in my head a lot of times when someone new calls and I don't know yet what that looks like to work with them. I can get very over analytical, I guess. I kind of diagnose it crazy to the point where my husband's like, Samantha, like you do this all the time. Just go do the call. And then after the call, I'm like, oh my God, that was amazing. It was so good. Everything was great. But yes, I mean, for me, it shows up every single time that I think it's the unknown. Anything unknown in my business, whether it's client related, online, digital, doesn't matter. When it's unknown, I get very anxious and aware. And the way that, for me, that I've learned is, again, the thought model. I mean, it's been life-changing for me. The brain dumps are good, but also having my own coach. And I know that that's so kind of like, but if you're a coach without a coach, like you are missing out on a huge opportunity to help yourself and to, like, we know what coaches do. It's what we are trying to do for our clients, right? And so if we're not practicing what we preach, for me, I always found when I didn't have a coach, it was a lot harder to kind of preach that thing that I'm not practicing.
Right. Yeah. Your coach reflects back to you what they're hearing you say. Like, I think that's key. And so doing that brain dump and seeing those thoughts that you're having that have built up in this pile in your hotspot, and reflecting back what you're seeing. And then if we follow the organizing steps, and we have similar steps, but if we've sorted and we're purging, kind of assigning homes to where these thoughts live, where would they live? Like, I'm thinking about this with me, like clutter thoughts, my thoughts that clutter my brain. I go through cycles of like you said, the fear of the unknown, doubt, catastrophizing. And so then what do we do with them?
Right. And I think that is why coaching, and then the other thing I've learned is community. And whether your community is like one or two people, or whether it's, whatever community looks like for you. But if I don't have support of like peers that are similarly going through what I'm going through, so then I don't feel so alone, and I'm able to hear kind of what they're going through and how they're dealing with it. And like, there's just something about community that is so helpful. So for me, I almost feel like we're still at the purging stage, right? Because then it's like what can I release? Like before I figure out what to assign homes to, what can I release and take off of my shoulders so I don't have to keep carrying it?
Yeah, that's good. And just earlier today with one of my coaching clients, we looked at what words meant in her thought. Like her thought was that it's a heavy weight. Like I'll be released of the weight of this or something similar. And I was like, oh, does that task have a weight? Like we kind of just started breaking down the words and it was so interesting. Like, no, it really doesn't. So what is
Right.
that she's feeling? And we started talking through like that part of the sentence. And it really, you could just see things shifting as we were patiently walking through what the words meant. And, you know, if we wanted to reframe it or look at it differently, or if we wanted to just dig deeper and what else is under there.
Yeah, I'm constantly asking my like coaching clients and stuff. I'm like, is that thought serving you? Like that is a huge one for me. And I have to ask myself the same all the time, right? Like, is the thought serving you? And if it's not, then what is a thought that's better that will serve you better? Because if it's not serving me, then it doesn't belong to me. I don't want it. I'm going to release it. I'm going to let it go.
Yes. Oh my goodness. So good. Okay. Do you notice types of clutter that show up for entrepreneurs versus everyday home clients? Like, is there a different emotional attachment to these things?
So I don't know if it's different, right? Because so this question got me. So just so you all know that are listening. So Tracy sent me a list of the questions that she wanted us to kind of talk about. So, and I ended up having this, like, I mean, I spent probably hours looking at these questions, like thinking, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like this was a really good one, but it kind of stumped me because I'm like, wait, are they different? Are they different? Are they the same? And I think it's yes and no.
Ooh, good.
Right?
When I read these questions, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to talk about that. So let's talk this through.
Yeah. So I think, yes, they're going to be the same because we're entrepreneurs. And so I feel like a lot of time there's overlap that we don't even realize is there or overlapping itself. Like, again, me yelling at my husband and him being like, what happened? He knows it came from my being an entrepreneur. It had nothing to do with something here in the house most of the time. But I think there's also the difference because, it's almost like as a mom, we have mom guilt. As an entrepreneur, there's like this extra weight, back to the weight thing. There's like this extra weight of being an entrepreneur that's kind of like mom guilt sometimes, but it's different. Like mom guilt is like, I have to because if not, I don't know. It's like I have to because I don't know why, because I'm the mom and I have to. And then as an entrepreneur, it's like this almost other weird thing of like, I'm choosing this because I know something better's coming down the road. I don't have to. I want to, but it still has the weight to it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
We're both like, yes, let's process that.
Yeah.
So is there a different emotional attachment? And so let's think of examples in our life. I want everyone listening to just think of examples. And even if you're a man listening, think of clutter and what your emotional attachment is to it. So just going back to mine, if I have sometimes have these ups and downs, maybe all of us can relate to that in entrepreneurship, but if I'm in a down and I have these thoughts that are cluttering up my brain, these hot spots, and I'm thinking like, what is my attachment to that? And would it be the same as my attachment to keeping something like, I don't know, some memorabilia? What would it be that I would be keeping?
Well, and because I was kind of thinking of this as like old courses and like different things that I have that, right? Like this could be this thing. And so for me, like the digital stuff is, courses or maybe like previous freebies I had that didn't do so hot or whatever. But I'm like, I know they could be better. Like maybe I can reuse them. And then, of course, in home, a lot of my clients, it's, oh, but my kid drew that when they were 5, or, oh, but I might use that one day. And so again, it's the same, but it's still a
Yes.
little bit different. And so that's also why I got so stuck on this question, because I'm like, yes, it's the same. And then I'm like, no, it's not. And I'm like, yes, it
Different.
is.
It is. I like thinking about that. Okay, if you're listening and you have something similar, you want us to dig deeper into it, let us know with that. But Samantha, you work with a lot of women stepping into being an organizer, being a professional organizer role for the first time. So what do you notice? What are biggest mindset shifts like they need to move past clutter into clarity?
So we have to realize that clarity brings confidence, right? And we also have to understand that when you're first starting a business and you are overwhelmed by all of the stuff that's happening, which to me is the clutter, right? Like the overwhelming, like you have so much coming at you. You've got to start a website and you've got to start working with clients, and like you got to get your first client, and like, where do I even go to get that? Like the list goes on and on, right? So you're very overwhelmed. And so if we go back to the thought that clarity, breeds confidence, and we need to be confident to get clients, then a lot of times where my ladies get stuck in the beginning is that they don't have the confidence, because they've not worked with any clients. So there's no confidence there. And coaches too, a lot of times, like if you've not, because you're not going to have that clarity if you've not taken any action to build your confidence in that thing. But now all of a sudden you're supposed to go to someone and be like, I'm a professional organizer. And so letting go of perfectionism, learning to trust the process, knowing there is a process here. I'm taking one step at a time. I'm learning to trust that, and that will breed the confidence that will then get you the clients. I think is a huge piece in for me, it was always one step at a time, progress over perfection. I used to have that written big in my office because I was so big on, but it needs to be perfect. If it's not perfect, you can't go out. Oh my goodness. Like, and then I'd spend 2 days on like one little post for Facebook when I've got all these other things that need to be done. Right. And so, yeah, I think just shifting and understanding that the clarity will come, the confidence will come, trusting the process, but then also just taking it one step at a time.
Yeah, I love what you said there. That clarity brings confidence. And so you went back to the steps. And so with the professional organizer, they go back to their organizing steps. I remember in coaching, it was like, trust your model, your mindset model, because you can always go back to that and have confidence in that as you build the art of helping someone with their mindset or helping someone get organized. So yeah, that's good to think about, the confidence part. Well, then I think about that shift. So there's fear tied to letting go. And then, so how do you, and we can think about this with how we helped our clients, but how can coaches or business owners start building safety around releasing the things that don't serve them? Just like how we would help our organizing clients do that.
Yeah. Fear comes from the unknown. And so we know how to reframe as coaches, right? So first we have to reframe our thoughts for sure, always. But looking at letting go as part of, it's for your future, it's for who you're becoming, versus the fear of letting go that you might miss out on something, right? Instead of it being this like FOMO, no, I'm letting go of it and releasing it so I can become the person I'm meant to be, and for your bigger vision and who that you're called to help and to be.
That makes me think of, I have the favorites method as part of the purging step, where I say, don't, and you just said this, it's perfect. Don't look at what you're getting rid of. First, choose what you want to keep. Choose what you use and what your favorites are. And that's kind of how you look at it going forward. You're choosing who you're becoming, choosing what you're wanting to keep and be. And then the other things, you're making the space for that by letting them go.
I love
Yeah.
that. Choose what you use. I'm writing it down. I'm just feeling it. I'm using it with every client because I always talk to my clients about releasing, and they love that word because it's not, because a lot of my people I've found they're like, well, don't throw it away. And I'm like, I'm not throwing it away. We're donating it. But in their mind, if it's going out of the house, it's getting thrown away, right? And so I'm like, no, no, no. Let's change the word, and kind of back to what you did with your client. Like, let's look at the
Yeah.
word. So we're going to release. And so I've learned that using the word release helps a lot with people. Like, we're just releasing it from your house, from you, but it doesn't mean it's going, into the garbage. But I love what you said of choose what you use. Like, that is, it's a different way it's reframing our thoughts. It's a different way of thinking about something that is, again, serving us. Is that thought serving me?
Yes. Yeah. And I started out using that with kids because if you tell a kid to choose their favorite, what toy do you play with all the time? And then I was like, hold on, adults are the same way. They need to use that too. But it's fun to think about it in your own hot zone of what you want to, as you're going through your cluttering thoughts of what you want to keep with you and moving forward. It's so good. It's so fun how it all relates and just to be able to talk through it. Okay, what else? Business clutter. Find any sneaky ways clutter hides in your systems, offers, workflows that, I don't know, maybe we don't even recognize?
Yeah, I think so. As I was thinking about this one, so I think it's like outdated offers, vague messaging, things that no longer serve our vision is one thing, right? But it also shows up as overthinking, constantly tweaking, staying stuck in planning mode instead of taking action. That one shows up for me a ton. That is a very sneaky way. Because again, I'm back to but if I just make it, if I just tweak it a little bit more, it's gonna be perfect when it goes out. And then the right people are gonna find it. And that's so not true, but it's my fear showing up. It's my clutter showing up. It's my emotions being afraid of actually putting it out there to see and to get feedback and again, that action is going to bring clarity, which is going to bring confidence. So I'm getting stuck in this, like, well, as long as I don't take action, it's that whole your brain trying to keep you safe and alive kind of thing.
Oh, it's fun to think about that too. Like, what are those different places? Because what came to my mind is even the meaning that we give failure. Like, if we put it out there and fail, if we think about that as a win, like that's another step closer. And you keep going back to clarity brings action, or action brings clarity. That's bringing more clarity, which is bringing confidence, but we don't think about failing as bringing confidence.
Oh, failing forward was one of my other ones. So progress over perfection, and then failing forward. I'm like, let's hurry and fail. Let's hurry and get this done. But again, I had to learn that. And then I have to remind myself of those things because I get stuck again in that place of let me over tweak it, let me whatever. But the second I go back to kind of like, wait, what have I already learned? Okay, I know that the faster I can get this done and take action, the faster I'm going to get to that place of clarity, which is going to bring more confidence, which is going to bring more clients because they're going to be attracted to my energy and the right people are going to find me. And yeah, so it's going back to, again, the system of what we know works and reminding ourselves of that thing.
Yes, which then I just had this perfectly clear picture to kind of wrap it all up that when we come in our house, we put a lot of stuff on the bar area, the island area, and that's where it goes because we have to put stuff down to be able to do anything with it. Well, I mean, I literally clear that area off probably a couple times a day, and that's what we do in our mindset. Like, we have those clutter areas, but if the things that are on there have homes, it's easy for me to put them away quickly. And so I think of that with our own mind as coaches, the psychology part of it. Like, they could build up because that's just naturally the the way we walk into our home or the way we deal with business, but we can clean those up quickly because we've processed through them and we know where their homes are, but they are going to still build up. And that doesn't mean you're not organized. It doesn't mean you're not doing it right. That's just part of the process. And we go through those and we clean them up on a regular basis.
Yeah, it's the maintenance part of spasm, right? Like
Yeah.
if your listeners know, then they know we got to get to the M. And so it's the maintenance part. Like, and I think what you just said was beautiful because a lot of us tie the getting stuck or the, the overthinking and all the stuff, we tie it to imposter syndrome and fear and like all these negative words that mean such negative things. But again, if we reframe that to what we're talking about of no, like I just told one of my clients today, I said, listen, if I can come back every 6 to 8 weeks, just let me come in, reset it. And then, because she's an older lady, she's like 80. I'm like, listen, it's fine. I'll just come in. Like now that we've got it organized, now that we've gone through everything and found a home for everything, I can come in one session and in a couple hours have it all right back in all 3 rooms, right back to the way it is today. She's like, oh yeah, that'd be amazing, And I think it's the same with us as entrepreneurs. Like we have exactly what you said. We have to realize, wait, it's because I'm human. It's because I'm going to have more thoughts coming in, just like we have more shoes coming in. And, we have to keep processing those through, but that's good. It means we've created a system. It means that we know what we're doing now and that we're actually growing.
Yes, it's good. We have a system and that there's nothing went wrong because we have this process.
Right. And that there's just because we're feeling the emotion of whatever doesn't mean that we don't know what we're doing.
This is good. This is perfect timing for me and what my emotions were. We had a conversation. I was talking to my husband last night. I won't go into that, but it's good just thinking through this. There's nothing that's gone wrong. This is just part of the process. The hot spot, and I process through it and everything has a home and it's totally fine.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And it's probably going to happen again tomorrow and the next day and the next day. And that's okay. Because as an entrepreneur, it's kind of like when you have a kid, right? You're like, oh my gosh, I want to have a kid. It's going to be amazing. And then like all the stuff that comes along with having children, especially once they're teenagers. Mine are teenagers right now. And I'm like, oh my gosh. But even if you had told me I still would have to walk through all that stuff, I still would have wanted them. I still would have said yes to motherhood. It's the same thing with my business. Like, yes, I still would have said yes. But I think with kids, we know we're going to have to deal with issues. And so I think for some reason we think as entrepreneurs, it's just, oh, it's going to be easy. And people online make it seem like, oh, I'm going to make $1 million overnight and it'll be fine. And like, yeah, I'm going to totally be making money while I sleep. And like all the things that like in the beginning were like the big dream. Right?
Yeah.
And then all the time I'm like, I'm how many years in? And I'm, wait, what? Like, okay, it's starting to work. It's starting to, Yeah. And I tell my girls that all the time that are starting organizing businesses. I'm like, listen, you've got to give it minimum 9 months to have any kind of consistent anything because you are starting a brand new business that like you've got to plant seeds. You've got to be consistent. You've got to stay committed. There's a lot of work that goes into it, but it gets to a point where you're so thankful for it and it's so worth the journey. But we're so focused on like yesterday's problems or what might happen tomorrow that we forget to enjoy the journey.
Yes. Right? Yeah, that's key. The enjoying the journey. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I love it so much. Samantha, where can people find you?
Everything is under Pro Organizers Coach, Instagram, the .com, all of it. I try to make it easy. Oh, and I have a freebie for your listeners.
Ooh, what is it?
Yes. It's the organizer's guide to be a clutter-free coach. So I wanted to help your listeners with just like a few little tips that they can kind of go back to, a little almost system, but just some thoughts to think about, some things to look at from an organizer's perspective as understanding what you're living through as an online coach on a daily basis. I get it. And so anyways, it's at bit.ly/clutter-free coach. And then each word is capitalized, like the C, the F, and the C. So clutter-free coach.
Awesome. Yes, I will have that in the show notes. That'll be super fun. Okay, and some quick questions.
Yay.
What's your favorite mindset mantra when you're feeling stuck?
One step at a time, be consistent, and keep it simple.
Oh,
Is that one?
Is that one sentence?
Right?
Okay, is there an organizing tool or app that you love?
Oh my gosh. So there was two. I'm sorry. I
Good.
love all the things. So one is Trello. Like, I have become obsessed with Trello. Once I figured out how to use it, I was like, oh my gosh, this thing's amazing. I can visually see. And then, but also color coding my calendar is huge for me. Like, if I didn't have my widget on my phone of my calendar, but then inside of that, everything color coded, I would lose my mind.
Do you pick like normal colors or do you have custom, like all in a certain hue? Or you just like
Oh
the
God.
normal?
Yeah, no. Yeah. I didn't, I literally like, I think there's like 10 or 12 options.
The
And,
colors.
like, keep
thing.
it simple. I think I have like 3 that I use, right?
Okay.
Like, one's for bills, one's for the podcast, and one's for organizing clients, kind of thing.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
You keep it simple. That's your mantra. So you have to
Right.
stick to that. Okay, and to close, the most surprising thing Clutter has taught you.
So, Clutter has taught me that the more I release, the better I feel.
Mm.
And kind of back to what we were saying earlier, I'm not losing anything. I'm making space for what is to come.
Oh, that's the perfect way to end. Samantha, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Wait, if you're finding this podcast useful, you must check out the Organized Coach Academy. It's my course where I walk you through every step to get your business organized, to get yourself organized, to save money and time, to prepare to hire someone, to do all the things that you want to do in your business with ease. Check that out at simplysquaredaway.com/OCA. Also, I'm sure you've heard this a million times, but I would love it. It's my way of knowing that you're enjoying the podcast if you leave a written review. I have lots of freebies for you. They're linked in the show notes. You can find them in my bio on Instagram at Tracy Hoth. And until next week, have a beautiful day.